The next 48 to 72 hours are by far the most critical for XRP because XRP's price will skyrocket to a price between $32.97 to about $57.21. And this is happening due to a massive breakout in the charts, over $2+ billion entering the XRP ledger, all within the next 48 to 72 hours. So here's what's about to happen in the next couple seconds. We are going to go through this detailed, in depth about how this number is going to be verified and how it's actually going to unfold, because I've been seeing a lot of people just posting numbers while not showing the facts. But here's the reality. $2 billion went to the XRP ledger, and $57.21 per XRP will likely occur in the next 48 to 72 hours. And it all comes down to RealFi, a major globalized institution that is going to be actually unlocking the entire real estate market onto the XRP ledger. At least that's what they plan to achieve, and they're beginning this by unlocking $2 billion in real estate transactions onto the XRP ledger directly, while also doing a massive burn over $500,000 worth of real tokens on the XRP ledger, which will overall burn XRP. And all of this executed in just 48 hours. Now, of course, this is huge. Not only is it big for XRP, but the entirety of the XRP ledger, as with over $2 billion in real estate value set to migrate from off-chain systems onto the XRP ledger, it obviously underscores a major step towards having the XRP ledger and XRP adopted with real-world assets like real estate. In fact, we're about to get into something even crazier, because it's $1 billion to start, but trillions of dollars over time. That is all influxing into the XRP ledger. And real quick, before we jump right into it, I do want to tell you guys that we have partnered, in fact, with Apple to give every single person watching today's video up to $100 worth of XRP. XRP's current price today, $3, but tomorrow, potentially in the tens of thousands. And so this is your chance to get in while you still can for absolutely free. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe, comment in the comment section, and then sign up on Uphold using my link in the description and do a transaction. Again, this is literally free money for you to take, so I definitely recommend you guys take that step forward. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. Now, one thing that needs to be made clear is the fact that XRP's current price is definitely not its real price. For example, there's been a lot of news, again coming from analysts, experts, articles, reports, that have confirmed that the true price of XRP lies in the tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, one of the top analysts, known as Versan Aldra, a major official that is very networked within the banking industry, actually went on a podcast and confirmed that the Central Bank of Australia actually stated that XRP would be in the tens of thousands of dollars. And it was clear because as a result of that, the IMF, known as the International Monetary Fund, actually announced that not only would Ripple Labs be introduced into the ISDA, which is the International Settlement and Derivative Association, but also that it would assist in facilitating $1.25 quadrillion for the derivatives market. Now, how is it possible that Ripple facilitate $1.25 quadrillion using XRP but not be priced in the thousands at the very least? Well, it's not possible. And so we get to the conclusion that yes, XRP's price at full scale will be in the tens of thousands of dollars. Crazy enough, it also links very closely to Arthur Bridger, the previous co-founder of XRP, which actually stated that XRP is designed for $10,000 and must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people, all referring back to a similar number. And to add on top of this, well, Forbes recently released a report confirming that XRP is going to be priced at $60,000, actually titling the article, XRP is the new Bitcoin, and it's heading to $59,974. Once again emphasizing the tens of thousands of dollar price per XRP prediction. But don't take my words, listen to this closely.
The Monetary Fund has already agreed on a price before all this integration started to happen. So this was a few years ago. They agreed upon a price, and I got a lot of information from Linda P. Jones has a friend who worked at the Central Bank of Australia, and she said that they agreed upon a price, and it's in the thousands. Now, when we again talk about the XRP price, we have to look at the global debt, the incentive for central banks to dissolve global debt. In fact, also to utilize this liquidity, source of liquidity from XRP to facilitate, transparency and, moving into the digital economy. This is what they're going to be using. XRP is a financial instrument to serve the global economy. When you start to take all these things into account, and again, like David Schwartz said, the price has to be very high. Monetary.
Now, it truthfully makes sense that if XRP's price is being set in the thousands of dollars, whether it be $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, that XRP hits over $32.97 from the next 48 to 72 hours. Specifically, that we're getting a lot of money influxing into the XRP ledger in such a short period of time. And this one analyst says, trust me when I tell you, XRP will be at $57.21 in as early as 72 hours. Look at the charts as a result of $2 billion entering the XRP ledger. Now, the truth is we've went over RealFi, and it's quite clear that this is a massive globalized institution. Just take a look at this. This is actually a huge institution, RealFi, and as you can see, people can literally buy real estate using XRP and using Real Token, which is again a whole new level. Now, if you take a look at the Real Token, which is actually the token that is being used, it is huge. I mean, this thing is very, very bullish. I gotta say, I got myself a nice juicy bag of Real Token because I see massive potential in this. I mean, this thing was sitting at 1/100 of a penny, and then obviously it ended up skyrocketing, and now it's sitting at 3 cents, but it will be significantly higher. I mean, I've seen a lot of analysts and experts talking about it, and it seems like this thing is actually going to take off in 48 hours, probably even higher than the price of XRP significant. Specifically because it has a very, very low supply of only, I think right now, 50 million real tokens, and they're doing a burn on the 12th of September, so in 48 hours, they're going to be burning another 20 million, meaning it's only going to leave it at 40 or another 22 million. Total phase one supply is only 22 million, which is nothing. And with that, they have massive demand, massive support levels, and very low resistance. And even with that, when you take a look at the scorecard for a Real Token, it's literally 100 out of 100. I mean, this thing is very bullish. Bandit score 10 out of 10. KYC score is low risk. Top holders are low risk. And total wallets continue to increase day by day at 3,020 wallets. The truth of the matter is that the money will flow into Real Token, and it will break out. It's only a matter of time. Again, I'm not financial advisor, it's not financial advisor, I'm doing research, but this is in my opinion. We will see the biggest, largest breakout we've ever seen for the Real Token, and it only makes sense right now to take advantage of this golden opportunity, the opportunity to make the absolute most amount of money on the XRP ledger. This means that when we're talking about scaling Real Token, right? So we're talking about Real Token literally doing a 10, 100,000x, 10,000x, 100,000x, which is done before. If this were to happen right now, every $1 could be converted into $10,000. This means that $10,000 could be converted into $1 million. This is the scale that we're talking about. And this is why I'm very bullish, and this is why I'm accumulating. Because I believe there's tons of money to be made, and it's now or never. That's what it's all about. So guys, I want to conclude the video by really talking about this and showing you guys this right here. Banker says, my transaction cost me 10 USD and it took me 24 hours to transfer the money while talking to Brent Garlinghouse. And Brent Garlinghouse confirms for these massive giant bankers we're talking like CEOs of JP Morgan, BlackRock, Brent Garlinghouse says XRP can fix your problem because it settles it in 3 seconds and for very cheap. Let's go and roll a clip.
Last year I had a fellowship at the Bank of England for a month and I had to pay my rent in advance. It cost me $10 and took me 24 hours to transfer the money from Bank of England to Santander UK. So I'm not going to tell you what the platform was. You know what my banks are. The problems with that transaction were that the money was uninsured for the 24 hours that it was in transit, and $10 may still be a lot of money for the Philippine copy editor, but I think there's a tendency to overstate the gravity of the problem. The question, and Brad, this is an honest question. Ripple is, one of your products is to distribute liquidity through the payments system. So the question is, could there be a run on Ripple? In other words, everybody wants your liquidity, nobody wants to provide it because there's a scenario where people develop doubts for good reasons or bad about the system.
So let me first clarify what Ripple provides. Ripple doesn't provide liquidity. Ripple provides technologies that allow you to access liquidity that exists in the marketplace. In the last 24 hours, the digital asset marketplace traded about $50 billion of liquidity in 24 hours. That includes XRP, but that includes Bitcoin and Ether and what have you. So, could there be a run on digital assets at large? The nuance of the question is, Ripple sells technologies. Can there be a run on Ripple? I don't know what that looks like. I mean, I can't really think about that. Could there be a run on digital assets? I don't know. I mean, today, again, $50 billion of liquidity, and, people are moving liquidity around. For XRP, a settlement happens in 3 seconds.